All right, bros. I'm gonna have to close my computer. I'm in a deep, dark place looking for the difference between A40 spec Porsche oil and C40 spec. So I'm in the deep, dark, netherly regions of the interwebs, trying to find the answer to that, which apparently doesn't exist. So if anybody knows that, if you'd kindly chime in, what is the physical difference? Not why, because we believe that it's because, when I say we, I mean the Porsche people believe that there's a change in oil specification, probably what additives are put in it to combat the additional heat generated from the particulate filters that are included. So anyway, that's what I've been working on here, because I was doing my oil change write-up, being that no one has done one, and I tend to like to fall on the sword and get the recognition of being the guy that's being so helpful to the world. So anyway, that's
so here you go in the chat. And Keith says, "Bob is the oil guy is your place." So I went to there's Bob is the oil guy is the website. So maybe you can dig around there.
Interesting.
I'll send you the link. That's a lot right there on the front page. Okay, so let's see who we have here. We already have a super chat. That's good.
Oh yeah, I like that. Send me some monies.
Let's start here with that one from Hilke, Christian Hilke Fienstra. He's in Europe somewhere.
I like that. I like that attempt at a proper enunciation and accent.
I'm gonna guess he's somewhere in the
Norway, maybe
Norway, Sweden, up there somewhere. We definitely need a European OG store. It's difficult to get the right products here.
Yeah, I would suspect that even if we were there, it would still be difficult. But yeah, I'd like to have that someday. That's on the docket. First, we want to get to Canada and figure out some of the legal complexities of making that sort of move, and then hopefully there will be some similarities in doing other foreign entities working outside of the U.S. and then I'd like to have that opportunity, that option.
All right, let's see. Mike chimes in the chat. Mike Burr says, "I need this right now. Thanks." So glad we could.
Well, I'm gonna lay it on you here today. I'm sure we're gonna come up with something. Yeah, it's a good day. It's a rather dreary day here in Central Florida. It's a little chilly. We got our sweatshirts on, and it's 60-something degrees. We're freezing.
High is 64 today. We're freezing.
Yeah, that's no good. That's bad.
30-something this morning. Chad says these thumbnails just keep getting better. Yep, that was a good one today. Bryce and Mike, I think they take a lot of pride in those.
Wonder what the per cost a thumbnail cost me. I have 7 employees dedicated specifically to making a thumbnail for the podcast that a couple hundred people listen to.
Worth every penny.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Christopher Baker wants to know, when will the sweatshirts, I guess he's talking about hoodies maybe, sweatshirts, come out for the garage giveaway?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
We're working on that now. We got emails about it, Mike and I did today, from the Storm Tech people.
Okay, all right.
Professional Procrastinator says he's checking in from Canton, Ohio, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's cool. Thank you for the Bob as the oil guy. Pancake Sauce wants to know, are senior citizen discounts now going to be available in the OG store now that you're past 40?
No discounts for anybody, ever.
All right. Yeah, you got to wait until Black Friday next year. That's the next time. Someone asked that in the Facebook group earlier. Let's see. Spencer wants to know, where did you order your Tornador from? Is that how you pronounce that?
Probably Amazon. I need to get going on that thing. Get those here.
So there you go, Spencer. We're not sure exactly where we got it, but I guess
it's hard
to find something.
I think I just ordered it right from their site. I mean, I know AutoGeek has it, and you can probably find it at several other places.
Let's see. Humberto's checking in from Puerto Rico. That's cool. Alfredo wants to know, Matt, have you had any backlash from vendors about the most amazing video ever created about your research of the ceramic spray?
No. Yeah, I haven't heard from anybody.
Lots of positive feedback, I think.
Yeah, I got a few emails from other companies laughing their face off, but it's not really. Wasn't directing it at any of them. It was just the ones that I bought on Amazon that were easy to get, and it could have been anybody's goofy named product. And it's it's a fantastic test. One of the best tests ever done. It's about as effective as as economic output when you raise taxes, like I said in the video. You always generate more tax revenue when you raise tax rates per individual. Works out famously. It's the best way to do it.
All right, let's see. Spencer's asking here, and then also who else here? Andrew asked this on Instagram. Big fan of the Obsessed Garage movement here. Question, will the M3 be up for a giveaway eventually? Are you going to sell it? Are you going to part it out? That keeps coming up here.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Everybody talks a big game about wanting it, and then no one wants to pay for it. So, I think they want me to sell it to them for $35,000 or something stupid. So, yeah, I got too many freaking cars, but I'm also going to have more storage space here when we move out of this place, which looks like it's now, it's back in motion again. And one of the things, so funny. It's like 2 months out of the year, people just stop doing freaking work. It's a microcosm of your future ability in life is when you take off for like the entire month of November and December, like you're going to end up working in the clerk's office for $28,000 a year for the rest of your life. Don't freaking do that. You just can't shut down for a month. It's crazy to me. So we got nothing. Nobody's freaking working.
Let's see here. Oh, Mike and Bryce claim it only takes about 10 minutes to get the thumbnails done. They claim that's... Chris Donatelli asked a question here. I'd be interested to hear your answer. Do you have a favorite bottled water? Or do you just drink whatever?
No, Dasani. Remember we had our water
Oh,
test.
yeah.
Which actually Dasani lost to Aquafina. But, definitely not that other bullcrap Nestle's or...
Zephyr Hills.
Ugh, terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, we did a podcast. We did a
double-blind study.
It's very awkward at times, but we got the results. Brad says, Matt, I know you don't have any matte finish cars. Do you have any experience in detailing them, mainly getting the surface scratches out and microfiber towel marring? Love my new installed power washer.
It's funny you should mention that. I just talked with my buddy Christian, who is coming up. Was going to be Monday, but the Dr. Beasley's products didn't make it in time, and so Monday the following week we'll be doing his frozen M5. You can't do anything about the scratches, but we can do some chemical decontamination, and we're going to be working with the Dr. Beasley's coating. So we'll be doing that here in the next week and a half, or week and a day, or whatever that is, week and 3 days.
All right, so there you go, Brad.
Yeah, so I don't have a lot of experience with it. I think what you do is you stick with either Swiss Vax Matte Care or Dr. Beasley's Matte Care or some combination of the two. You want to stay away from, you can't polish it. If you polish it, you'll ruin it. You can't, you can't correct it. And you don't want to load it up with stuff and have it turn shiny because you can't fix that. So we're going to go into all that stuff, and it'll be my first experience. Hopefully I don't screw it up for them. So we'll see.
All right, let's see here. A couple folks talking about the interview that you did with Pan on his channel. So did you watch that, or have you heard any feedback on that?
Yeah, it was actually surprisingly positive. I thought people would give me a really hard time for being, confident in my answers, but it seemed as though the response was, overwhelmingly positive. I've been reading, I've had less time to and less desire to, but I've been reading a lot less comments. Like when I post something on Instagram, I used to follow up with every single thing. I'm very aware of what's going on, but I generally follow up with almost all comments on YouTube. I think what we talked about is rather poignant, or rather specific to don't be frickin' lazy, and figure out. And Pan and I have two totally different ways of doing things. Like he's very goal oriented, very aware of, very keen on following trends and providing people what they want. Or I'm very keen on sticking to a very specific plan of staying my course, and very unaware of what others are doing, and attempting to find great products that kind of change my own personal process, and then share that with people. And so we kind of dug into my story, a little bit of his, and I think it's a value to go and watch. And it's, whenever I do these type of things, it gives people an insight into where I'm at this point in life, because I don't have it all figured out, and sharing, some of the things that drive me. Like this concept of the realization that one of the things that drives me is the desire to be impressive in all things. And everybody has, sometimes it's hard to admit what your desire to do things. They usually stem in some sort of ego or vanity or something like that. But the thing that drives me and makes me really excited to do things is this ability to kind of show off what I've learned and what I know. And then the marketplace can decide whether that's a value or not. And I like to think we're building structures and adding in leverage by adding people to the organization to help provide leverage to that value, because the marketplace has deemed my impressiveness as of some value to some extent. And I think that's at least that's something I've kind of figured out here recently.
All right, so that's on Pan's channel.
Yeah.
It's like an hour and 40 minutes or something like that. English only, sorry. No, he didn't do it in French.
Yeah, I don't speak French, so I don't think that would help.
That would have been tough. Let's see. Don't Skip Pudding, our buddy from across the pond, finally made it to a live chat here, so welcome. Has Matt heard of Blip Shift Designs for tees, hoodies, etc.? I think they're in California. Their business model is interesting, and the daily designs are great. Also, shipping to the UK is pretty cheap.
No, I haven't.
Blip Shift.
I'm not a huge fan of their, there's a lot of companies that do that, mail order t-shirt stuff. I actually, when I first started producing t-shirts, I'd worked with a company, and that was the whole thing, is that they, sort of print on demand. They keep your inventory for themselves. They keep your inventory on site for you, and then they take a percentage of profit. Well, the problem is they jack up the cost, and they jack up the cost, and they take like 30% of the profit. So you have less profit because they jack the cost up. So they're really taking like 70% of the profit. And I just said, I'm not interested in that. And then who knows if they're going to deliver it in a timely fashion and follow up and fix problems and and quality control things. And so a lot of those sort of t-shirt producers have taken on that model for those that are a bit more sort of gullible and not willing to put in the effort to figure it out. The other problem that company had is they did not have good shipping. It was like, if they ship 5 shirts, it was like $50. I'm like, well, what's the difference? You ship 1 shirt or 5 shirts, it's like difference between $6 and $8 or something like that. And so it was like, well, who's going to buy 5 shirts? I'm like, everybody. They're like, well, we don't see that. I said, well, my people will. That's what I do. So anyway, that was my experience with those kind of services. So we produce our own stuff.
All right, let's see here. What else? Oh, Sleeky2002 says, how about the Forerunner teased in your videos? I think people are noticing Waba's Forerunner in the background. Lots of questions.
Yeah, we'll keep the Forerunner a mystery. It's a secret vehicle. Maybe we'll do an expose on it here soon. No, it's Mike Waba's. I don't know the story behind it. He didn't tell me. We'll get it from him.
Yeah, he had another Forerunner that was newer with less miles, and he decided to get that one instead, I think. Lots of cars over there. Let's see. Matt, do you have a certain product and pad combo you use for polishing glass? That's from Lance in the chat.
There's 2 ways to think about polishing glass. One is just to clean it up, and so I'd do you just spray it with some iron remover and clay it or auto scrub it, and then follow up with if I'm just trying to clean it up and get a little bit of spotting off of it. Then I would just use a microfiber cutting pad and a compound like Sonex Cut Max or Jescar Correction compound, because the idea of correcting glass, if you have scratched or etched, glass that's not etched but scratched from from the wiper blades and stuff like that, you're probably not going to be able to get those out without spending a dozen hours doing it. But the other way to correct glass is to use a rayon pad, not a microfiber cutting pad, but a much stiffer, more abrasive rayon pad. And then CarPro has a product called Siri Glass. Someone's telling me there's another company, I don't know if it was I forget who it was, that came out with a more user-friendly version of a glass. I think it was McKee's maybe, but somebody else has one that for the longest time, Siri Glass from CarPro was pretty much the only game in town. But it dries out really quickly, and you need the working time. You need to work for 45 minutes on a 1x1 area, and you'd want to spritz water to reactivate it and stuff like that. I think Mike Phillips from AutoGeek has some like old videos on how to do that. But again, you're likely not going to make much of an improvement, so I tend to replace glass rather than worrying about polishing it outside of just deep cleaning it with a microfiber cutting pad.
I have a question here from Jute in the chat. Bought a new used car. I'm about to coat it. A few rock chips. I have matching touch-up paint. At what point in the process should I try the touch-up paint?
You do the touch-up right before the last step, which would be to put your coating or sealant or wax on. Because if you put it on before you polish, it's polisher's gonna rip it right out. So that's when I do it after the fact. Larry Cosilla has some old Drive channel, one of the first videos on his channel, I think. It has like freaking 8 million, some ridiculous amount of views, where he uses a pencil eraser and puts some sandpaper on and uses some product to touch up paint. So he has a process. I've never actually done it, but there are better and worse ways to do touch up. But the problem is generally when you polish, you end up yanking it back out.
All right, Andrew says, have you noticed weird patterns in the S-Tech Dyno Shield on your GT3? Like the film has a weird defect, for lack of a better term, in it. I know the GT3 is white, so probably not the easiest to see. And then JD Pilot says in there afterwards, Andrew, my S-Tech has some film imperfections also. So have you noticed that?
Yeah, no, mine is spot on. What those imperfections come from, I'd almost wager, a lot of money, is that all of these modern PPF films have a top coat, and if you stretch the film too much, and S-Tech is actually more stretchable than most before that top coat severs. So I bet you any amount of money that film was just they tweaked it when they were installing it. So it's likely that the film didn't have imperfection. It's likely that they damaged the top coat by handling it a little too aggressively. And I had Ryan Burrows do mine, so he's world class. So I think that's possibly what they're seeing, because S-Tech film is pretty darn legit. It's pretty highly vetted. It's one of the higher end film options.
All right, we have a question here from Tanya, one of the two ladies to follow Obsessed Garage here. Been looking at getting a Model 3 as a daily, per your influence. The unplugged Performance Ascension front fascia would definitely de-nerd the car. Mm-hmm. What visual changes are you thinking about making?
Yeah, see, I don't... forgive me, Ben, I don't love the Ascension front bumpers. It's a little bit too aggressive for me. It certainly does improve it. So what I'm trying is I'm doing the Artisan Spirits, which I believe Evasive is the U.S. importer for it. But if Artisan Spirits has a front lip, side skirts, rear splitter, and trunk spoiler, and then they have little canards that go on the front bumper. So I'm hoping that breaking it up with these little stick-on carbon fiber little eyebrow looking things, and then doing the front lip makes it look not so dorky. But we'll try it, see how that looks, and then worst case I may. But the problem with that pearl white is it's going to be really hard to match, and so that's why I didn't want to do a whole new front bumper if I could help it. And I hate to say it, but it might even look better just putting the front plate on the darn thing, but I doubt I would do that. So that's the plan right now. Actually, I&D has the whole Artisan Spirits kit, and they have a Model 3 up there, so they're gonna test fit and do some fiberglass molding and stuff so that way I can just bolt it right up, and the problem is the color match. So I did the carbon fiber and FRP version. So I did the carbon fiber version of Artisan Spirits. If you Google Artisan Spirits and then go to the Japanese page, you can see the the photos, and they have a quick little YouTube video. I think it looks pretty cool. So tint the windows, lower the car substantially. So I'm doing MPP or mountain pass performance coilover system with all of their different control arms and frame braces and all that stuff. Doing unplugged sway bars, unplugged carbon ceramics, and their 6-piston caliper, Brembo caliper. I had Ben from Unplug. He's ordering me a new set of Tesla rear rotor or rear calipers, so that way I can powder coat those black, so freaking goofy red, and then new wheels. So that's the current plan.
All right, Darren has a nice compliment here. He says, "Thanks for being upfront with your condition. I've suffered from it for 53 years, and it's awesome to see that there's other people like me out there. Keep it up. Can't wait to see what you're going to do next." That's cool.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to grow out of it. It's not looking good for me there.
Let's see. Any Tesla update videos coming up soon? Robert wants to know.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do the correction next week then, since I'm not doing Christians until the following week. So I might start that on Monday.
All right, and then as a follow-up there, John wants to know, has Michelle completely taken over the Tesla yet, or does Matt still get to drive her car?
She's taking it over quite a bit.
Yeah, I think she really likes that.
Yep.
Let's see. Matthew wants to know, I know the OG spec for painting walls is a flat sheen paint. 100% agree.
Yep.
What is Matt's recommended sheen for painting doors and trim molding?
I actually like semi-gloss there. If you do, like, my whole house is a satin. Yeah. So I think it goes flat, satin, eggshell, semi-gloss. No. There's one in between there.
Let's see.
What's the paint scale of finishes? Yeah, from matte to high gloss. So anyway, I have satin on all of my trim. The only problem with doing satin on trim, your trim the whole point of trim is to protect the walls, right? And so trim does tend to get banged up more than the walls do. And so doing a semi-gloss on there does, to me, make sense. And I like that contrast. And so I generally will do, like in here, we have semi-gloss, on the walls is flat, Sherwin-Williams cashmere. Cashmere is just a thinner paint, so it goes through spray guns better. But normally I would do super paint, Sherwin-Williams super paint. And stay away from all of their fancy, like the fancy homeowners crap that none of the pros use, like I don't know what they call it, like Dura something or other from Sherwin-Williams, or the Benjamin Moore has them. Those fancier ones tend to have a sheen even in flat, and so you stick with like the professional grade version, the Ben line from Benjamin Moore. I forget what was it, Richardson's paint. There's a lot of decent paint manufacturers out there, but I'd like to stay flat on the walls and then go either satin, or if it's a really nice place, or if it gets banged up a bit, do a Pro Classic semi-gloss.
All right, let's see. This question comes up fairly often. Where did you get the canvas prints of the GT3 behind you?
GIK Acoustics. It's called the Art Wall.
Let's see. Jeff C. says, I purchased a Hex Plus membership last May. Some of the best money I've ever spent. If I want to re-up for the garage giveaway, is that just a new membership, or can it extend my existing membership?
Yeah, the software is a little clunky. We don't have the ability to extend it. So I would suggest you'd have to create a new profile and re-up it. And then just let the other one expire, and then it's kind of clunky. I think it's stupid, but it's what we're working with the app developer.
All right, Lucas asks here in the chat, and then also on Instagram here. He's from Croatia. Have you thought of implementing warm water in your pressure washing procedure? Or do you ever see a need for that?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly would if I was north of where we live. Let's say if I lived in anywhere where it got cold, I would certainly consider that. It's really not that difficult. Just run a hot water line. So I might do that in my garage, the garage that I'm going to build at my new house. So I might just, why not, set it up where I have the warm water option. So, yeah, there wouldn't be any reason why not. I mean, soap foams better. Dirt rinses off better. It's just it's even in warm environments like this, it's not such a terrible thing to have.
All right, another question here. We were supposed to do this last week, but I don't think we did. Can we expect a video on the Mosmatic Undercarriage /surface cleaner soon?
Yeah, it's on the tip of my to-do list. So yeah, it's not even on the short list. It's on like that gotta get it done, should have gotten it done weeks ago list.
All right, let's see. Xantonin GSF recommends 20 mils per 1,000 milliliters.
Yeah, they lost their mind. Yeah.
You're using 150.
Yeah.
Have you tried less? I think
Yep.
you did. And how are the results?
Yeah, I found the limit. The limit was once you get below 100, so about 90, it stops foaming. So 90 and 750 milliliters of water. And so right around 100, 110, it works pretty well, but I'm going to stick with my 150. So if you want to keep it as lean as possible and in soap usage, I think like 100 will work. But I did a little bit. I don't know if it was exactly 90, but I did a little bit less than 90. Shook it up really well, and it was real, soupy. Wasn't foaming. So 20 milliliters. I'm not sure what they're looking to accomplish there, but certainly that doesn't work.
All right, along those same lines here, Brock wants to know: have you tried the Koshimi wheel cleaner?
Yeah, I don't like it. It's just the typical sodium thioglycolate, the typical iron removing wheel cleaner. MWC. I didn't like it at all.
All right, let's see. We have a super chat here from John Fries. He wants to know, Matt, looking to build a new garage. I'm limited to 918 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of going 24 wide by 38 deep, but was wondering if I should go 3 cars wide, like 35 wide by 26 deep instead.
I would definitely go wider than deeper. Just so much more useful. And so I think 24 deep will work really, really well. So I would squeeze that extra 2 feet for because you could put MSS Plus cabinets that are 26 inches deep and put a full size SUV like a Tahoe in the garage and still be okay. Yeah, I guess it depends on if you have Raptors and Tahoes and stuff like that. Then having 26 feet deep, it would be helpful to you. But if you have like cars like I have, then 4-door, even like 4-door M5s and stuff like that, 24 feet is plenty. But having the width is just so much more useful. You can put a bigger cabinet array. You can put more windows. You can make it feel more comfortable if you have that horizontal room. I would much prefer having a wider than deeper garage if I only had the choice of one.
All right, let's see. Alex wants to know, does Auto Paint Guard do S-Tech installs? Don't see them as a certified installer.
No, they don't. No, he's Expel and Suntech, which is fine. I mean, I'd prefer Suntech. I have a choice.
All right, let's see. Matt, have you ever considered selling NextZet Cockpit? I know you used to use it and said it was hard to source and smelled like public urinals.
Yeah.
But man, it's the best I've used.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I found that the PNS stuff is close. It leaves a matte finish, does everything I needed to do, and doesn't have any problems. With trying to get it here and having, I don't know if they've gotten it squared away, but I just find that it unnecessary to go back, all the work we had to do to try to get it right, and just having scent problems and then supply problems and leaky bottle. It's just a big problem. And so when I was just not going to sell an interior cleaner because Griot's Garage wasn't giving me the time of day and telling me I need to buy through Auto Geek. I'm like, get out of here. And then that's when somebody said, Matt, you really got to give the PNS stuff a try. I'm like, it didn't feel right. I've already got 2 PNS products. It looks, I don't know. And sure enough, I tried it. The reason why I didn't like it at first, I hated the smell. But when I really thought about it, it really doesn't. It smells kind of good. It's one of those things that grows on most people. Some people can't get over it. But and that's just the scent they chose for it. But yeah, I haven't found the need to go back.
All right, let's see. We had some people chiming in with the order of paints here for you. So flat, eggshell, satin, semi-gloss, gloss.
Okay, so I had eggshell and satin backwards.
And then there's Benjamin Moore has flat, matte, eggshell satin semi-gloss. That's theirs.
Yeah.
So I guess it varies, but it's still kind of the same thing there.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have a question from Dean here in the chat. Hey, Matt, I just joined the stream. After some inspiration from your videos, I coerced my wife to let me renovate the garage the way I wanted. Wanted to know if I sent you a floor plan, could you give me your opinion on layout with what I want to do?
Sure. Matt at obsessedgarage.com. And depending on what you need, a lot of times you're better off working with Kyle. Kyle has become even more proficient in this than me, and then he'll bring me in when it's something that has some question. But he's gotten he's really good at drawing up mocks and stuff like that. On like the other day, I was watching him. I was trying to figure out a mezzanine. He'd figured out how to do a mezzanine level, which is pretty sick. But yeah, one of us can. We'll see. Depending on what you need.
All right, let's see. Youngblood in the chat here, and then Luke Anders brought this up on Instagram. Has anyone seen the Press All OG ads yet on YouTube? First ad I ever gave a thumbs up. And then Luke noticed them as well. So
yeah, cool. We're starting to work on that. I've been sort of one of the sort of business avenues that we'll be taking in the future is working toward making each individual department a profit center, and whether direct or indirect. And so one of the ways to make media a profit center obviously would be to get views and get Google AdSense, but another way would be to apply sales attached to advertising. And so of course what most mediums like what I do would pursue would be sponsorship. They'd pursue sponsors from other detailing companies and flooring and ball creams and nut powders and stuff like that. And so what I've chosen to do is I'm going to have Obsessed Garage sponsor Obsessed Garage. Right? So when I say this video is sponsored by me, I really mean it. And so the plan is to grow the brand, to make the brand stand alone from me, the personality, whether or not I'm doing 100 videos a month or not, and so we're going to start to supercharge the brand through inorganic marketing, and that's by advertising, and hopefully making advertising that is interesting instead of just and useful rather than just hey, buy my stuff, it's cheap. Discount. Instead, we're going to, we're already the world's foremost experts on pressure washing accessories for car washing. So why aren't we telling people about that in a much simpler way? Because all the information is there, all the stuff, all the data is out there, but it's deep in hour-long videos. I need to start to extract that into much simpler stuff. So we're going to work on that in 2021 or 21 and 22 is a big focus of mine.
Let's see here. Jonathan wants to know, what are your thoughts for the best rolling toolbox for those of us who may not be into Snap-on or Sonic?
I don't know. I haven't done a lot of rolling, toolbox research. I mean, I would want one of two. I do like the Sonic boxes. I do think I don't like their bigger ones. They're like 50+ inch wide ones. So if I wasn't suckered in, because I think Snap-on boxes are terrible. I want to like them. I thought that's what I was going to get when I was rich and famous someday. And I just can't imagine why anyone would want a Snap-on Epic toolbox. I think it's terrible. It's just cheap and just floppy drawers, and I just don't like it. And so I would get a Lista box. Lista, and we may bring in Lista boxes someday. But go to listabox.com and dig into it. The problem with Lista is that it's so complicated to figure out. But yeah, I'd have a Lista toolbox.
Let's see. Jay Rose wants to know, what's the name of the OG Choice app that you are using for membership? Besides the re-up issue, how do you like it?
It's called Bold.
It's called Bold Recurring Memberships.
Yeah, and they're really the only game in town on Shopify. So I made this choice in the beginning. One option would be to, which is the preferred option, is to go to another platform. which is Patreon. They have a monopoly in this market. Go to Patreon and set it up, and you give them 8 to 10% of your revenue. They do have some control. It's kind of like going to YouTube and putting your videos on YouTube. Now you're beholden to YouTube. Patreon, not quite as much, but Patreon's been known to censor and things like that. And I don't want to do that. So I wanted to build my own platform. I didn't want to be beholden to another company, like I was headed toward with Amazon and with YouTube. And so instead, we decided to build it ourselves. Now the two disadvantages are: one, notifications getting sent out to people, and then the second disadvantage is the ability to have full control over billing. It's just rather basic. You sign up, and that's about all we can do with it. So until I hire a developer to go and revamp that completely, we upload the videos to Vimeo. And then make posts on the video stuff. But again, I wanted to keep it simple. Everybody throws all this garbage at you, all these tchotchkes at you when they do a membership. I'm just going to give you some more content that I think might be interesting that maybe I'm not as comfortable sharing with the general public.
All right, let's see. Mike Burr is hitting us with some of the hard-hitting questions today. How do you feel about the Chick-fil-A mac and cheese?
It was pretty good.
Cup. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
had some today.
I don't like some stinky runny. Nothing I hate more than runny mac and cheese. Like the Panera mac and cheese is gross.
I don't think I've had that.
Ugh, it's like runny, like too thin. It's too slimy. Like think Velveeta versus Kraft. Don't be making your Kraft with milk, people. Just leave the milk out. Just do double the butter. Keep it nice and dry. You don't want some slimy, runny mac and cheese bull crap. Gross.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A is good. It has that like cheesy crust on top.
Yeah,
too,
well, why don't they mix it? Why doesn't the whole thing have a cheesy crust over it? That's what I want. Is that too much to ask?
Let's see here. George wants to know, what are your thoughts on the best exhaust for 991.1 Turbo S? Coming from a GTS and miss the exhaust sound.
Well, you're not going to get one. Yeah, I mean, all the usual suspects make an exhaust for that. I don't have a lot of turbo experience, but FabSpeed makes one, Soul makes one. I think AWE has one. I'd be inclined to give AWE a shot. I think they have one for that car. Car Graphic, but I wouldn't pony up the cash for an Acura. They're just so expensive, and they really sound like stock exhaust. So I wouldn't go down that path if I were you. I'd look at the American manufacturers and, the Souls, AWE, FabSpeeds of the world and see if you can piece something together.
Paul has a good question here in the chat. He says, how do you find the OG ad? So does it just pop up randomly on other
I guess.
channels?
I don't know. Brad does that for us. Yeah, it's like when you, I've never seen an ad. I have YouTube Red? And YouTube Red family plan, so nobody sees any ads ever. But it would be, the ads playing. I don't know how people do that, especially if you watch a lot of YouTube. It's $10 or $11 or something like that. It's worth every freaking penny. So I can click around a video crazy and never have an ad ever. I haven't seen one in 3 years or 2 years, however long I've had that. And the best money I've ever spent.
All right, let's see here. We have a super chat from Michael Bowman. Matt, have you done any research into home automation, specifically smart light switches?
No, I have zero interest in that. What's the point? If you're going to do that, you would do Lutron. I mean, it's the standard. So you do Lutron, freaking screw the Amazon, turn the lights on. What do you need to turn the lights on because you've got explosive diarrhea problems and you have to run to the bathroom and you need just turn the switch on. I don't understand the whole point. Alexa, buy me some toothpaste.
Mac and cheese.
It'll guarantee to buy you the wrong toothpaste. So I don't understand the point of having that. The only reason I think you'd want more control would be so that you could dim different zones and stuff like that. But I have zero interest in that kind of thing, especially as efficient as LED fixtures are now. If you're building a new home, you just leave all the lights on. Who cares? It costs nothing. So the lights have 50,000 hour half life, or 70% half or 70% life left at 50,000 hours, something insane. So I like to have Lutron dimmers if I can, but that's about the extent of what I head to with the lighting controller. And if in a home theater you might want to do a graphic eye or something if you had multiple zones of lighting. But I also stay away from all that white trash fancy crap like LED strips all over the place. Like the people put in like a weird wannabe soffit with with some goofy LED strips hanging up in there, or they backlight their TV. It's just just stop getting hung up on this weird dude crap. You don't want lights to turn purple in your kitchen, so you don't need some Philips Hue lights or some bull crap like that. I've got that rope light behind the desk here. It's the dumbest thing I've ever done. I was like, well, that looks kind of cool. Let me try it. And you just want to make it white light and it turns pink and purple and all this other weird stupid stuff.
It looks like here in the chat you set off some people's Alexa when you said that, so I guess we got to be careful.
Alexa, I'm a douche. It's like, why does anybody have that? I just don't understand what you do with it. You just want it to read the weather off to you. How about just walk outside?
All right, let's see.
You have an Alexa, don't you?
No, I don't.
You have the knockoff version, don't you? You have a Google Home or something like that.
Hey
Google, get me some nut powder that I saw on that ad for that guy. I was like, what?
Saw on the ad on YouTube since I didn't buy YouTube Red.
I'm trying to help you people that aren't even asking for help. Just stick to the basics. There's a classic style. There's a classic way of being. There's classic technology improvements. So think of things like what is going to be like. People are oftentimes attempting to skate to where the puck is going to be, and I find that those are the same people that get it wrong over and over and over and over again. I'm sorry to the guy who's asking about light switches, but I'm just talking in life in general. Like there's technology to adapt to and adopt. And there's sometimes early adopting makes sense, and then there's others like, maybe I'll eat these words someday, but voice in your house until it does something. What's the frickin' point?
All right, so now evidently when you said Alexa, I'm a douche, the reply was, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's just
that's funny. Thanks,
like
Brad.
Dude, take that thing, unplug it immediately, and go throw it in the trash. What do you have that? Why did you waste it? Aren't they like $250 or something like that or more? And it's always the people that don't have $250 that are spending $250 on a frickin' Alexa or some robot vacuum cleaner that doesn't frickin' work. This is nuts, people. Just be better. Stop putting LED strips everywhere in your house. I don't understand why you would want that. I do understand why, but you don't want that.
All right, David.
Don't buy the freaking alien, the goofy hex lights for your ceiling. Stop it. Stop this nonsense. Just think about this. Think about yourself 3 years from now standing there with your arms crossed just looking at your garage. You're going to look at that and say, man, I've really got to get rid of this. This was cool 3 years ago, but it's just not now. That's how you want to live life.
Man,
Classic.
There's all sorts of good chat going on here. This is good. After your Alexa rant. All right, let me go back to a couple of things real quick. Then we do that. So David says, hi from Luxembourg. That's cool. Thank you for the great content on the channel. Cubopolis has a good question here. I just bought the microfiber towel starter pack.
Okay.
It is great, but I don't know which one is used for what. Is it possible to make a printable cheat sheet that I could put on my cabinet with the towels?
I think we could work on your memory skills here, but yeah, I have it all in the description of the product right there. It tells you what I use each one for. But just don't get too hung up on that. Find which one you like for what process. I'm just giving you a guideline of these are the towels that I like and what I use them for. But you'll find that you may prefer one towel or the other for something. So the main purpose of having that kit is those are the towels that I like. I like them for certain processes, but those are towels that I think that most people will adapt to their own style.
All right, let's see. Tom says, do you have a UK shop? No. Do you ship to the UK? Yes, we do. Every day almost.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but
Yeah, it's
we
pretty
do.
expensive, but we do. Alex says, any ETA on the 5-liter GSF? No. Not
But
that I've heard.
It's
in
on the
last
water,
week.
so it should be here
Yeah.
in the next couple of weeks or
We're
so.
waiting on a container that has that as well as the, what's the other one you wanted? Ulex.
Yeah.
But as soon as we get it in, Alex, it will go in the store quickly. Car Enthused has a super chat here. What makes a vacuum OG spec, unlike vacuum made?
Well, that's what we're working on right now. Vacuum made to me seems very much like Sunjoe or Flexzilla or any of the other sort of well-marketed, highly produced things. And so I'm looking for something better than that. It's not that it's too easy. It's like they've done a good job marketing it. But and I don't know much about vacuums at this point, but to me, as soon as I see that thing, I can just tell it probably weighs like 12 pounds. It's very similar to what the guys that I'm working with sent me, and we've sent it back to them yesterday and said this is not it. I'm looking for a commercial grade. I'm looking for the Crinsla or the Cox or the Mosmatic of vacuum cleaners and vacuum systems. And then likely what I'll end up having to do is we'll have a motor, and then we'll end up with a different hose from one company, and then accessory crevice tools and brushes and things like that from somebody else. And so I'm looking to put that together and have an awesome vacuum system. And I'll start to really get into it because I'm going to be putting a vacuum system in my garage. I'm going to be building at my house, so it's going to force me to chase it down. And so I'm not looking to spend money, but I'm looking for likely a $3,000 vacuum. That's probably what I would expect it to be. Hopefully it's some number significantly less than that. And then how can we break it down from there, finding what the $3,000 vacuum does, and then how do we find progressive steps to that do some similar stuff, like the Karcher pressure washer is not the Crinsla, but it has some similar traits to it that make it viable as a progressive step to get to the ultimate solution. And so I'm working on that. Same thing, I'm working on deionized solutions as well to come up with a higher flowing one that doesn't look like all the ones that are out there that are just super generic. I'm looking for something a little bit better appeal, look, feel, function, that sort of functional excellence as well as looks the part sort of thing. So Eurovac, TigerVac, these are some of the companies I've discovered that make extraction systems for dust extraction and things like that for commercial applications. And so we ought to be able to get someone like that, figure out within their product line. The problem is that they're not marketing it to consumers because they don't think anyone would pay $1,800 for a vacuum. And I'm not saying I want to. I hope it costs $700 or $200, but I just know that it doesn't. And so, maybe a $200 vacuum aid is good enough for you, but it's not good enough for me. I want something better. I don't know what better is yet, though, but I'm suspicious that there is. It'd be like if I only knew of a Flexzilla garden hose, I would be very suspicious that there's something better. And so, same thing.
All right, George has a question here. Matt and Chris, what would be your all-wheel drive / 4x4 car of choice if you lived in a cold weather climate like Heartland country? So when you move up to Calgary, what are you gonna?
I'd have a Raptor. Case closed.
It's a pretty good choice.
Yeah. Raptor with a bed cover on it. And I'd probably have two of them. One for me and one for Michelle. And that's what I would do.
All right, Bobby says he's looking to build a smaller 3-car garage, 30 by 32.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the uniform front-facing look, so I want to do a single 16-foot door.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on that? What do you think about that?
Yeah, you can. I wouldn't do a 16-foot door. I'd do at least an 18-foot door if you're going to do something like that, because it'd be such a pain in the butt. Now 30 inches or 30 feet deep would give you some room to angle in and back up, and I don't think that'd be too annoying. But you'd have the walls on either side, either maybe if you offset the door. But I would just try to do as big of a door, 18 or 20 feet, if you're going to do a single door. I'm not in disagreement there. I think that having the symmetry of a single door could work out pretty well. But yeah, because I hate the tiny little door. I don't like having like a 8-foot or 7-foot wide door. It's just a pain in the butt to get in and out of. So yeah, I'm down for the less doors, the better. I just think that you'd want to put a bigger door on there if you could.
All right, let's see here. What is the shelf life? This is from Todd of Wolf's Glass Sealant once it has been opened.
Shoot. I had one that was 5 years old, something like that.
Also,
original bottles.
How many bottles or how many vehicles can you do with one bottle?
100.
We have a 50 milliliter bottle and a 150 milliliter bottle.
Yeah, the 150 milliliter is a lot.
That'll last you a long time.
A lot of applications, yeah.
Lots of Alexa chat here. I think you bought toothpaste for 3 or 4 people here in the chat, according to what they're saying. You just bought toothpaste through my Echo.
Douche paste. Alexa,
Jason.
buy me some douche paste.
Lots of people say they use it for music and ordering nut powder. That's good. What is the OG nut powder?
What do you mean music? What kind of garbage are they listening to?
Hey, Alexa, play some Heartland theme song.
So you're listening to a Heartland theme song on a garbage Alexa speaker. Oh, my gosh. Be better than that, people. Oh. Can't even imagine. The Sonos that I have is garbage enough. Man.
This is good. Jason says he has an Echo B thermostat with Alexa next to a HomePod Mini, and they both turn on whenever they darn well please. They probably set each other off.
What is he doing with that? I set my thermostat and leave it forever, for infinity. Like, what are you changing on? I don't understand. I set it to 70, whatever, 2 degrees, and just leave it forever. What are you people changing? Are they trying to save like $12 by moving it up 2 degrees and down 2 degrees or something like that? Hasn't the world kind of proven that doesn't really work? Because then the system has to ramp energy to recool the place. God dang it. Just don't understand what regular people are doing in this world with this freaking Amazon or this Alexa garbage.
Yeah, then lots of talk here about the government listening and wiretapping.
I don't give a crap about that. You can listen all you want, but I don't want you freaking... I can just ask my phone sitting right there with me. I'm going to carry some bull crap speaker. Listen to some freaking, some Imagine Dragons on your speaker that's the size of a hockey puck. Like, what in the world are you going to do with that?
All right, let's see. Robert says he's waiting to upgrade his ceiling lights. What's the timeline for the Cree OG solution?
Oh, yeah. Man, this stuff is so freaking good. It's so good. I mean, I have had such great experience with CR6, but... yeah, thanks for reminding me. I've got 3 major projects that I've been procrastinating way too much. One is Milwaukee accessories and creating Milwaukee Essentials kits. 2 is Sonic tools and building, tool grid, Sonic tool kits, buying like Husky and garbage New Age cabinets and all that, and showing people how much they suck, but then showing people how to, outfit them, because 90% of people have those cabinets. The same people who have all this Amazon crap. They just insulted like 95% of the people listening. Sorry. And then the third is Cree, but like some of the fixtures, like the LRX fixtures or the RC6 new construction lights, or if you're doing new construction, you do like KR6s or KR4s. There's just so much freaking awesome stuff in here, and I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. So I'm into troffers now. So I've done all of the retrofit lighting options, like retrofitting your recessed lighting and stuff. So I've gotten through. There's CDR, CR, DDS, CRT would be I'd only special order, LRX. Those are the 4 or 5 different types of retrofit lights for your recessed lighting. I have CR6 in my house now. I have CR6 3000K. They're incredible. And then there's Edison type, and then what's the other type? GU type. But yeah, I'm working on it. So we'll have new construction light, retrofit down lights. We'll have troffers, which would be your replacement for like on ceiling and in ceiling type things with the ability to include drywall, recessed drywall fit and stuff like that. So, and then we'll do outdoor lighting and vapor-proof lighting and all that stuff. So I'm working on it, and hope prove me. That's the plan.
So timeline would be hopefully this year, perhaps?
Yes, certainly this year, yeah. I'm hoping this quarter. But if you need it, maybe we can order it now.
All right, let's see. Photoboy310 on Instagram wants to know, how are you liking the Viper stool? Do you still find that the foot rail is too big?
Yeah, it's way too big. Funny after after the video of me just using it in there, I don't even really, it wasn't a video specific about it, but now they're playing ball, so we're having a discussion about what I might want. It's too big, but I don't know they're going to be able to completely change their design right away, but it is a great stool. It's really awesome having those awesome 4-inch casters. It makes a big difference.
All right, let's see. Here's a good question I thought you might enjoy from Champagne Chugger. Happy New Year. Does Matt have an OG spec stainless steel cleaner / polish for Wolf and Sub-Zero appliances?
I used I bought there's like this standard like stainless steel polish. I forget, it's in like a green bottle. I thought it was terrible. It didn't work very well. I end up using the stuff from Home Depot. It starts with a W. It's like Warner's or Wagner's or something like that. Let me see. But I don't like to use the aerosol one because it gets freaking everywhere. I like, Wyman. Yeah, Wyman stainless steel spray, and you just have to buff the crap out of it so it doesn't leave streaks. But that's what I use on all the countertops, and use it on my Wolf range, and use it on the microwave and stuff like that. It's just, you got to work for it, and it usually gets on the floor and makes that slick and all that stuff. So that's all that I've used to this point.
All right, here's another good question that you may appreciate from Lane Scott on Instagram. What are your thoughts on using versus not using turn signals? Are you?
I hate using them on a highway. I think it's freaking stupid, especially if no one's around. I know some people are sticklers for that, but when it comes to turning, yeah, I'm yelling at Michelle all the time. Michelle's a late turn signal user. Mm-hmm. She's like slowing down, and turn signal 1 second before. I'm like, you need to turn it on before. But I don't like that whole, I'm going to turn my turn signal on and then people are going to let me in. I have a hard time with that. But I'm supposed to be, via my therapist, I'm supposed to just stop thinking about this kind of stuff. Like, because to me, there's a proper way to do things, and I'm worried about it all the gosh darn time. It's part of the reason why I have such problems. Instead of just doing whatever I want to do and screw everybody. Gosh, I want to be that guy.
All right, let's see here. There's one other question. Oh, from while we were talking about GSF. GSF in 5 liter is on the way. True. Mm-hmm. But is the GSF in 20 liter something you can confirm that they are going to make? You mentioned it's coming end of spring, early summer.
I can't confirm it, but I told them I freaking want it, so make it happen. So hopefully it'll happen. I usually get what I want, so we're gonna get it.
Quick. Go back to microfiber here for just a second from Bill on Facebook. What's the go-to microfiber towel for sweating my balls off at CrossFit? Do you take it?
I take a beach towel. The microfiber just doesn't work very well for me.
No pluffles at the gym?
No, I'm using the JoJo Siwa mermaid towel. It's my current favorite. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, here's a good question from Ash on Facebook. Matt, do you still think your time with Gary V at the 4Ds was worth the money? Is there anything left to implement from the consulting session?
Not for me, but I've implemented everything. It was just a good at that point. Like now, I think it wouldn't be as valuable of an experience for him. But at that point, a year and a half ago or so, it was important. But it's just a good thing to do. So. Yeah, I think it was worth the $12,000 or whatever it cost.
We're talking about your stainless steel process here. Jason says, I use the pre-soaked wipes, and that's way neater. Then he says, I tell Alexa to order me some more. That's good.
Yeah, and then you get some butt wipes that show up instead of Wyman wipes or whatever.
Lots of praise here for the Wyman products in the chat here. That's good.
Yeah.
Wyman wipes are amazing for quick cleanup, says Flippin' Kraut.
Well, I tried to go, boutique and special, and that's when I started doing some internet research and stuff, and that's when I find that it's in a green bottle. You wouldn't even be able to find it in a Google search. It's deep on the internet somewhere, but it's some fancy. It's like a family owned, but it's not in a spray. It's in like a just a liquid, like pour it onto the towel type bottle. But it's the same kind of white, milky stuff that all the stainless steel cleaner uses.
All right, someone in here suggested Home Depot's HDX Citrus Degreaser leaves no streaks on stainless. Saw an employee using it in store and have used it ever since, says AZ Clayton.
Interesting. Everything I've lots of people tell me different things like that. And it's just never really worked out for me. I've always gone back to the milky, streaky white stuff and just buff it off.
Oh. HDX has a citrus scent, I guess. Some people aren't a big fan of that. Let's see here. I thought the stool was a no-go, too. We could find 4-inch casters to slap on something else afterwards.
The problem is that, like, the Sonic stool or the Craftsman or the Adams, the ones that I kind of use just because that's what exists. Even if you put better casters on it, it's not really better. And so this one is at the right start. So my email response to them was, I'm in, but can we make one with a smaller footstool? They're making it for like you're working on a rotisserie or the car's, on jack stands and you're cutting the fender or something like that and you want your feet up and the stool sitting up like 2 feet as high as I am now. But of course we want the stool like, 18 inches, 12 inches off the ground. And so when you put the pad down, 12 inches off the ground, you got this giant circle that you're trying to squeeze your feet on, and you're smacking it off the running boards of the lowered car. It's just not a good thing. And so I think we'll get there. I think they'll be able to make one for us. But right now, I don't know that it's coming anytime soon. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to work with them. But they're on the right track. I mean, the thing is super stout. And, it's one of those things, like, people are really going to complain about spending $500 on a stool, but it's something that you'll literally have for the rest of your life, and you'll keep and use daily, forever. I think it's worth it.
All right, let's see. Jonathan on Facebook asks, is Jescar Colonite still your preferred sealant wax, or have you tested anything new lately?
Yeah, from just an old school basic wax sealant, you really can't go wrong. Something classic about it just works. I've moved on and used. I'm using a G-Technic CSL EXO on all my cars. It also depends on where you're at in the world too. But yeah, I think it's a great combination. I don't think people will be disappointed with how it performs. It's just depending on how aggressive the weather is, on how long it's going to last and how much you drive your car.
All right, let's see. Lance on Facebook wants to know how deep down the Tesla rabbit hole you're going to go. Are you going to get a Powerwall and solar to go with your Tesla?
Probably not. Maybe though. I don't know. Those things just seem. You're never going to get your money back for them. So you generally buy those kind of things. You want to save some money, but. As much as I move around, I don't think I'll be doing something like that. But and I don't know. We'll see.
All right, Derek wants to know, when are the tractive coilovers and DSC controller going in the GT4?
I won't be doing coilovers. I like to leave my Porsches alone because I like how they ride, and I don't want to mess that up. But I do need to get a DSC controller, so I'll probably get on that here soon. I did order the Dundon headers, so the plan is to do. I took the GT4, and this was always the plan. I took the headers, the aggressive race headers off, even though it sounded super cool. It's just too much for. I just don't want that much anymore in my life. It's too aggressive, and there's a little bit of the sort of violent drone and stuff like that, and the car's certainly going to rattle and stuff when you're that loud. And so I put the factory headers back on, and so I have the factory headers with cats and then the overaxle pipes in the rear section. But I think the combination is going to be stick with the sole rear section and then do the Dundon race headers, which will gain 30 horsepower, 30 horsepower. And so I'm doing the Dundon street headers, which I'd order to be here in 3 or 4 weeks, and I'll combine that with the with the sole rear section. I think that's going to be a pretty sweet combo, and I think people will probably end up doing that after I get this figured out.
All right, let's see. Mike M on Instagram wants to know, in your opinion, what's the best driver's car you can purchase for between $75,000 and $100,000?
You could probably, get a 991.1 Carrera S. For that amount of money would be the best driver's car. It'd be a fantastic car. You could probably find a pretty low mile one. I don't think you'd get a GTS. If you could find a GTS for $100,000, that would be perfect. So a 2015 Carrera GTS would be incredible.
All right, Scott Taylor wants to know, any news on the updated microfiber package?
Yeah, Chris and I were just talking about it earlier. Placed the order. We'll likely have a sale to blow out the remaining towels that we have of the old stuff, and the new stuff should be here. We're planning to have it February 1st. That's the goal, and we are transitioning to Rags to Riches cleaner, the microfiber cleaner, which is really great, and so microfiber 3.0 should be here shortly.
And not all towels are changing.
Yeah, not all of them. Yeah,
there will be some.
Yeah, and it's not like
over.
The old towels that are rendered obsolete or anything. It's just, after using these towels and I've made some decisions and on what I think can improve, and so that's why I'm going with 3.0.
All right, let's see. Where'd that message? Chicago Auto Pros wants to know, should I pull the trigger on getting the Ascension body kit for my M3?
For his Model 3.
Oh, no, it says M3, so
yeah,
I guess that means.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think I forget what color. I think his is silver. Jason, what color is yours? If it's white, it's gonna be tricky. I think it's cool. I mean, I know that the fit and finish is going to be the best of anything on the market. I don't know. Something about it just doesn't seem right, but it certainly looks better than stock. You have to look at the Artisan Spirits version too. Unplugged Ascension. Let me look at it again. Watch, now I'm going to like it and want it. See, there it is. That's it. Yeah, it's cool. Certainly better than stock. I don't know. I did the Artisan Spirits version, which will keep the front bumper because of the white car. So mine is going to look like this one here. So if you go to Artisan Spirits, which is their artisanspirits.co.jp, you can find it. That's what my car is going to look like. You guys probably can't see that, but that's going to be pretty sick. I'm going to have different wheels, though.
Yeah, someone here in the chat, our buddy Mike in Canada, just asked about the wheels. What color are they going to be? Or what are they? What's the plan?
That's a secret. Yeah, I want to get maximum hate, and then everyone will have to apologize to me when it's done, because it's going to be freaking awesome. I'm wagering it's going to be awesome. But what do I care? I mean, I'm gonna do it anyway, and tell them, suck it, nerds. Yeah, right. I can't wait. I need to make some more Tesla videos. It's too much fun. Too much fun watching people. Cup holders? You said you don't need cup holders? What kind of idiot are you? I said, drink in the kitchen, loser.
Jason from Chicago Auto Pros says his Model 3 is black.
Yeah, I think you could pull off black a little easier, though. And he's right near to IND. So, You go, you order it and go to IND and have them do it for you. Because they're right nearby. So if he goes over there and has them do it, then yes. So they have my Artisan Spirits kit there, so you can probably run over there and see what that looks like. They can kind of hold it up to your car if you want to go test fit it. So you can, they literally have it right now, and once they work through the holiday, through their projects, they'll send it down to me here.
And now Tanya says black should be better. She wants pearl white. That's what you have, right? The pearl white.
Yeah, that's the tricky part, is that getting even my these little molding thingies that I bought to match. Thought about painting them black. That way it just contrasts, but I don't know if that will look very good. So most of the parts that I bought were carbon fiber pieces.
All right, let's see. Paul from Instagram says, will you ever get excuse me, another project car like the Civic Si? No, that was special, near and dear to your heart, but such as a Evo, STI, or maybe a Volkswagen R32.
Probably not one of those, but certainly something. I don't know what'll catch my eye next. I do want to do a giveaway on a 997 GT3. That's one of my goals. If we can pull off the Civic, if we can pull it off and do raise 130 grand in profit, then I think we can do it. A GT3. Because the GT3 is going to cost $160,000 or so to do, I would guess. And the only other problem with the GT3 is there's not a lot to do to it other than to set it up and dial in the paint and adjust the coilovers and maybe put a set of wheels on it or something like that. But I think that would be a well subscribed to. I know that's something I would buy a T-shirt for sure.
All right, Harry on Facebook says, what would you rate the M3 as a driver's car?
New M3 is a terrible driver's car. The older M3s, it just depends on how much you care about tech, and being modern. In comparison to a GT, like a GT4 or GT3 or a Carrera S, there's no freaking contest. Like if you drove one back to back, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. But if you're doing just like an E92 M3 or E46 M3, you'd probably love it. But in comparison to a 911, forget it. It's no freaking, like the first time, like my Carrera S, the one I bought was the first one I ever drove. It's like incredible. Or even, a GT4. Even a Cayman. A Cayman was the first Porsche I ever drove. My buddy Charles had a Cayman S in 2011, I think. Maybe 2013. And that was the first, I think it was 2013. It's the first Porsche I'd ever driven. And I was in love immediately.
All right, let's see here. Jason says, I was surprised on the P-Car chat to hear Matt talk about the Supra. If it came in a manual, would you consider one?
Yes. Yeah, I'm really digging how aftermarket support. I mean, those cars look great. So that would be a more entry-level car that I would buy and do, and bolt stuff onto it, modify it. But I don't want some freaking automatic bull crap.
All right, Dan on Facebook says, are there still plans to OG brand various other products? I find myself oscillating between Griots and OG. I've spent roughly equal amounts between the two.
Yeah, I mean, the long-term goal is to co-brand most things. And so to have, for instance, to bottle in a better bottle with a better sprayer, different chemicals. The only difference is I'm just one of my philosophies is going to be to share what's in the bottle and not pretend to be something I'm not, which is a chemist. And so we'll take P&S and put it in an Obsessed Garage bottle and call it the Obsessed Garage P&S Brake Buster. I would get rid of the brake buster part and just call it frickin' wheel cleaner, The Obsessed Garage P&S wheel cleaner. Boom, done. Make them all blue. Why not?
All right, Aaron on Instagram says he's been seeing more and more people doing Iron X on their vehicle and wheels before the car is even rinsed off.
Yeah.
I've always done it to a rinsed vehicle like your process, but is there any difference in doing it first versus what you do?
Well, the chemical is going to attack other dirt. That's just to simplify the process, because the iron removal process of doing that decontamination is not that important. Unless you're just in this heavy iron-ridden area or something, I don't know, near an iron ore plant or something, I don't know, or you live on the railroad tracks or something. But a product is more effective if it's not diluted. So if you have a concentrated product and you spray it on there on a wet surface versus a dry surface, then I think you're probably negating. So in a perfect world, you would clean the surface first, then dry it, then iron remove it, then rinse it off would be the preferred method. Again, since it's especially if your car is pretty dialed in, I also don't like using iron removers. I don't have to. We use them once in every couple of years. I'm not a big proponent of using iron remover every time you wash your wheels. I don't see the point of that, especially if they're coated. There's no reason to do that.
All right, let's see. Dam Kaizen on Instagram says, love the content you give for all of us. Definitely the top channel I go to every time I start up YouTube to check and see what's new. Keep up the great work. What is next on your checklist of cars you want to own besides a Porsche?
Again, I want a 997.2 GT3 RS 4.0. I want a 2015 458 Speciale. I want a E46 M3. Those are the only three I can think of. I want a 992 GT3 manual touring. And I think that's about it at this point. So no biggie. just another $750,000 in cars. Yeah, that's what I want.
All right. Also, he's looking forward to the garage giveaway. When will you draw for the garage giveaway?
What is the calendar? When does it end? Does it
Ends
end on
January
the 31st?
31st.
Which is a what day?
I believe that's a Saturday.
Where are we at here? 30th, 31st is a Sunday. Yeah, so we'll do it Monday, I think.
April Fool's.
Yeah.
No, that's February. Sorry. Messed up.
Maybe we might need a little time to compile it, so let's plan on doing February 2nd. So the guys can come in and compile all the last entries and all of that, and we can do it on like Tuesday afternoon or something like that. We'll do a live stream.
There you go.
That way, no one can say I didn't do it. Here it is, live, living on YouTube forever. It's no secret.
All right, after you named off your cars that you were interested in getting there, James says, do you have no interest in Mercedes?
Zero. Yeah, they don't make anything any good. I wish they did. Yeah, no interest.
No, that's going to be your, what'd you say, an S550?
Oh, yeah.
AMG.
Yeah. An S55 AMG, where my driver drives me around in. Yep, my massaging rear seats. Yep.
All right, let's see. Mike Rich says, what's your opinion or experience on the Microfiber Madness drying towels as far as scratching soft black Japanese paint?
I don't think it would be any different than anything else. I mean, the Microfiber Madness stuff is certainly high quality. I just, I bought them all in the beginning, and a lot of them were just too heavy, too plush for my liking. But I think that you'd probably do really well with the chipmunk towel as your drying towel, and I don't think you'd end up with a lot of scratching issues. So yeah, I mean, I think you'd be fine with it.
All right, and then Ryan says, how about the BMW M2? Any interest in one of those?
I would if they made a new one without a goofy fart machine, S55. That could be a cool giveaway car because there's huge aftermarket support. But I don't like the S55. I don't like the competition version of the car. So I don't know what they're going to do with that car in the future. But if it's anything like the new M3, ain't looking so good for BMW, and certainly not with me.
Then Mike wants to know, would you ever consider a Type R?
A new one, no. The thing is way too overdone. Too much going on. I don't like that one very much.
All right, let's see. Michael Bowman says he currently has a C63 AMG S.
Fart machine, yeah.
It's a blast to drive for a four-door car. Prefer it over my old M3 F80, hands down. Plus, it's hard to beat the blurbles on the twin turbo V8.
Terrible. So I went down that path. I'm like, well, I'm going to get a C63S, and I'm like, there's got to be a way. It's a big old V8, twin turbo V8. There's got to be a way to make this thing sound good. And so I found all these videos of aftermarket cars or cars with aftermarket exhaust. The engine sounds like it's huffing through a straw, and they put farts and burbles on the end of it to sort of mask it's like the most god-awful sounding thing ever. I'd be watching Mike from Autovlog and watching all his videos on the C63. I'm like, man, this is a good-looking car. I mean, interior is fantastic. Great audio system option. It's kind of goofy. I think the carbon ceramics on that are only on the front, but at least they have a carbon ceramic option. And then I started getting all excited to go get ready to order one. I had it all spec'd out. Then that's when I go start chasing the videos of the sound, and I'm watching Mike from Autovlog, and I'm watching all these different videos of them going through tunnels. I'm like, this thing sounds worse than the F80, like way worse. The F80 has the overrun fart thingy to keep it in boost or whatever, but the C63 is just god awful sounding. It's the worst sounding thing I've ever heard in my life. Now the C63 Black, like the C63 AMG Black, the V8, those things are whatever, those W204, we've gone over this before. Those are some of the best sounding cars ever. They just don't handle very well. And they, of course, have that goofy MCT transmission, auto transmissions that I really wouldn't be able to handle. So you have no manual transmission, not great handling, and horrible sound. ZF automatic transmission. I don't want that. Who the heck wants that? Millennials want that. Little baby girls who can't drive a freaking manual transmission. It'd take you an afternoon to learn, for gosh sakes. You know how to drive a manual?
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
That's what I learned on.
You're not a baby.
Lewis.
Oh, my gosh.
I'd learned how to drive on a 1981 Datsun pickup. It was a 5-speed.
Yeah.
If I could drive that, I could drive most anything. Let's see. There was a good question from Dan here in the chat. Now that you have a GT4, what do you think about the Cayman S and GTS? Is it worth it, or go for something else at that price tier? I know you're not a C8 or M2 fan.
Yeah, I wouldn't want a new one, though. I'd want the naturally aspirated version. I wouldn't want a 4-cylinder turbo, for gosh sakes. So I would want, and then you kind of lose out on the whole experience, because isn't the is the GTS, what is in that? I thought it's a 3-liter turbo. Isn't that what's in those things? Let's see. So if we go 718 Cayman models, the Cayman GTS 4.0, 394 horsepower. But what is that? Is that is that a 4-liter naturally aspirated? Yeah, okay. 6-cylinder naturally aspirated. So yeah, the GTS would be freaking awesome. I just wouldn't want the turbo version, which I guess would be max horse 300 horsepower, features.
Some feedback in the chat. 4-liter naturally aspirated 718 GTS is a 4.0 from the GT4.
Yeah. There's the turbocharged Boxer 4, which is the 2-liter turbo. You certainly wouldn't want that's the base Cayman. And then the Cayman S, technical specs. So the Cayman S is a turbocharged, 2.5-liter. So I wouldn't want the turboed version, even though they're more tunable. Again, they don't sound very particularly. They don't sound like a C63 or an F80 terrible, but they don't sound great. And so yeah, the GTS is freaking fantastic. How much is that thing? It starts at 86. That's the thing. I mean, you're already getting into Cayman territory or GT4 territory once you outfit the thing. But, I mean, you do get more with a GTS base trim than you do with a base GT4 trim. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic car. I think you'll freaking love that thing.
All right, let's see here. Ryan says, probably a stupid question. No, this one is not a stupid question. No. Okay. But can you run hot water through the Crinsla pressure washers?
Yep. Yeah, pretty much all the pressure washers you can run up to about 140, 145 degrees, which is, kind of too hot to touch. So, unless you have a really stout, really close water heater, one that was, piped right into the pressure washer, you can have a hard time eclipsing 120, 125 degrees at the tap in most cases. I mean, I know some people have some boilers and stuff like that in the house, but generally speaking, a normal water heater, you're going to set to 125 degrees or something. By the time it gets to you, it's 120 degrees. And, Crinsla or an AR. And that's why we don't do these TSS hot. It's an extra $50 or $100 for the TSS hot, for the hot side of it, which just has different seals inside. And so if you're using that warm to hot water, then any of the pressure washers will be fine without having to do anything special.
All right, let's see here. Oh, I know the answer to this one. Andrew says, would you have a track day toy ever?
No. The track's just not my thing.
Let's see. Alfredo says, I've been using P&S Express Interior Cleaner for a few months now and was just now hit with that strange smell while using it. Strange vomit smell. Maybe you got a bad bottle. I don't know. It does smell all right, though.
Yeah, it's a weird choice.
All right, let's see. If we got any more questions, I'm not seeing many. It's 3:27.
Yeah, people have got to stop with this Acura exhaust stuff. Acura is not great for sound.
Ricardo says, when applying to Obsessed Garage, a requirement should be being able to drive a manual. We'll add that to the list.
I don't really care. But, yeah, I couldn't imagine being... It's like the most fun thing ever. I couldn't imagine not being able to do it.
All right, well, thank you all for joining us. We had 300 and something people at the peak, so that's cool. Hope you have a good weekend. We'll be back next week, I think. I don't think anything's going on next week.
Yeah, I think we should be good.
We'll be back on track next week. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you then.
Yeah, see ya. Later.